Preparing for an interview can be challenging, especially when it comes to web development fundamentals like HTML. As the backbone of every website, HTML, which is hypertext markup language, plays a critical role in structuring content and ensuring a smooth user experience. So whether you're aiming for your first job in web development or looking to upgrade a more advanced role, having a strong grasp of HTML is very important. HTML has evolved significantly, with HTML5 being the latest standard. Today, it not only defines the basic building blocks of web pages, but also supports advanced features like video and audio embedding, canvas for graphics, semantic tags for SEO, and APIs that integrate seamlessly with CSS and JavaScript. So in short, HTML is at the core of creating user-friendly, responsive, and accessible websites. And because of this, HTML is a crucial topic in technical interview. Recruiters often assess a candidate's understanding of HTML to gauge their ability to structure web content, ensure accessibility, and collaborate effectively with other front-end technologies. In interviews, employers often test candidates on their knowledge of HTML to evaluate not only their technical foundation but also their ability to apply concept in real-world projects. And that's why practicing the right set of interview questions and answers can give you a strong edge. To help you prepare, this guide covers the top 30 HTML interview questions and answer broken down into 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So whether you're just starting out your web development journey or preparing for senior roles, this structured approach will strengthen your foundation and sharpen your practical knowledge. Let's talk about what we will cover in this video. First, we'll have a look at beginner level HTML interview questions, 10 questions. Then we'll cover the fundamentals like tags, elements, attributes, semantic HTML, forms, and the role of HTML in web development. Next, we'll move on to intermediate level HTML questions. This also covers around 10 questions. We'll be diving deeper into topics such as multimedia handling, HTML5 features, APIs, accessibility standards, and integration with CSS and JavaScript. We'll cover 10 questions from here. Then we'll move on to advanced level HTML interview questions. We'll be exploring complex areas like browser rendering, SEO best practices, performance optimization, canvas and SVJ usage, and modern HTML capabilities. And by the end of this guide, you will have a well-rounded preparation resource that equips you to handle HTML interview questions confidently at any level. So are you ready to build the future of the web? Let's dive right in. Before we commence, here's a quick information. If you are ready to take your development skills to next level, then our Microsoft AI-powered full-stack developer program is designed to make you job ready in just 6 months. Now imagine being able to build dynamic, scalable user interface using React, Node.js Express, and MongoDB, all also while leveraging cutting-edge AI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot to supercharge your code. And the best part is you'll earn official certification from Microsoft, which will give your resume a significant boost. This program is designed for people who want to get hands-on with coding and understand the full process of developing a modern web app. Plus, you'll have access to Git portfolio, which is perfect for showcasing your work to potential employers. One of the best parts of the program is the AI-powered job assistance. You'll get help optimizing your resume and LinkedIn profile, mock interviews to prepare you for the real thing, and even custom job. So what are you waiting for? Hurry up and enroll now, and you can find the course link in the pinned comments and description below. So hurry up and let's get started. So let's move on to our first beginner level interview question. So first question would be, what is HTML? So the answers are very. These kind of question would be asked by interviewer. To answer this, it's very simple. Just say HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is the fundamental building block of the World Wide Web. It's a standard markup language used to create the structure and presentation of web pages, and by using a system of elements and tags, HTML tells web browsers how to display content including text, images, hyperlinks, forms, and various forms of multimedia. You can also think of it as a skeleton or the blueprint of a web page. The hypertext part of the name refers to the fact that it allows you to create link to other documents or resources, which is a core feature of the web. This is how you would answer when an interviewer asks you what is HTML. It should be very clear and to the point. Do not include extra content. Just talk about what is HTML, what all elements it includes, and basically about its features. That's it. Let's move on to a second question, which is what is the difference between HTML elements and tag? Now, this question is often asked by the interviewers, and it's really important to know. The answer would be, while often used interchangeably, HTML tags and elements have distinct meanings. Now, a tag is a simple markup you enclose in angle brackets, like as here, as you can see the P which is enclosed in this bracket, for its end. Now, an element, on the other hand, is the complete structure encompassing the start tag, the content within it, and the end tag. Now, again, we have P in brackets. Now, this is a complete HTML element. Now, this P which is enclosed in bracket, and one more we have P backslash in bracket, right? Now, these are just the tags that define its boundaries. Some elements like image or BR, which you can see from here, they don't contain content or an end tag. So they are represented by a single tag. Here you have the sample text. You can see how it's mentioned. So here we have the element, which is the P. This is a sample text, P in bracket. Opening tag is the P1. This is the content, which you write in simple English. Again, we have the closing tag with the backslash. Let's move on to a third question. Our third question is, what are attributes in HTML? This is also a really important one. Now, an attribute are special words which is used within an HTML tag to provide additional information or modify the behavior of an element. They're always placed within the opening tag and typically come in a name-value pair format. Let's say, for example, in the image tag, we have image source, you can see from here. And then we have alt is equals to a photo, right? Now here, the SRC, the source and alt are the attributes. The source and attribute specifies the source of the image file, and the alt attribute provides alternative text for accessibility and in case the image cannot be displayed. Really simple to answer. Let's move on to our fourth question, which is what is semantic HTML? Now, semantic HTML refers to the practice of using HTML tags that clearly and accurately describes the meaning and purpose of the content they contain. Now, instead of using generic tags like div in brackets for everything, semantic tags like header in brackets, nav, main, article, aside, and footer are used to give meaning to the different sections of a web page. This practice is crucial for accessibility. Now, as screen readers can better interpret the page structure, and for the search engine optimization SEO, as search engines can more effectively index and rank the content based on its logical structure. So here you can see the format of the HTML, which is the header. Then we have the navigation bar at the left side. And then we have the main article, two more articles, and at last we have the footer section. Now, the fifth question is, what are self-closing tags? To answer this, you can say that a self-closing tag is also known as a void element, and it is an HTML tag that does not require a separate closing tag. This is because they do not contain any content between an opening and closing tag. They are used for elements that simply perform an action or embed an external resource. Common examples include BR line break, HR, which is the horizontal rule, IMG, which is the image, and input, which is the input field. Now here we also have an example of self-closing tag, which is also mentioned in brackets and backslash self-closing tag. Very important question. To answer this, you can say that HTML elements are categorized into two primary display types, block level and inline. Now, a block level element always starts on a new line and takes up the full available width of its container, creating a block. In contrast, an inline element does not start on a new line and it only occupies the width necessary for its content. They can also appear side by side with other inline elements. Let's say, for example, we have span, A, strong in brackets, and EM. This distracting is a fundamental to controlling the layout of a web page. To make it more defined for you, here you can spot the difference between block level and inline. So you can see in block level, we have box 1, box 2, box 3, and box 4, all in vertical format. Whereas in inline, we have in horizontal format, box 1, box 2, box 3, and box 4. Now, seventh question is, what is the difference between HTML and XHTML? It is a more flexible markup language, and browsers are generally forgiving for minor syntax errors. On the other hand, we have XML, which stands for Extensible Hypertext Markup Language. This is a more stricter version of HTML that adheres to the rules of XML. Now, what is XML? XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. This means that XHTML documents must be well formed, requiring all the tags to be closed, attributes to be in lowercase, and all the attribute values to be quoted. While XHTML was a step forward, a more structured web, HTML5 has since become the new standard, balancing flexibility with modern web app needs. To answer this, you can say that to create a hyperlink in HTML, we need to use anchor tag, which is the A in brackets. The link's destination is specified using the href, which is the hypertext reference attribute. The text or content that the user clicks is placed between the opening and the closing tags. And the basic syntax is ahref is equals to URL. Ahref is equals to http www.example.com. This is your content. And again, the closing brackets. You can visit our website, again, A with backslash brackets. This creates a clickable link that directs the user to the specified URL. Now, when they click on the text, visit our website. Repeat. So whenever they click on text, they are directed to visit our website. So you can see here how it's mentioned. So here, as you can see how it's mentioned, it's starting with href, http www.example.com, closing tag. Again, we have visit example website, A with are again the final closing tag. So this is how do you answer when an interviewer asks you a question like how do you create a hyperlink in HTML. Now make sure that you also show an example. Do not just answer theoretically like just giving a theory answer. You just give a command or a code and show them in front of your interviewer that how would you actually create a link for a particular website using the tags and using the hyperlinks. Our number 9 question is, what is the difference between ID and class attributes? Now, the ID and class attributes are used to identify and style HTML elements, but they serve different purposes. The ID attribute is designed to uniquely identify a single element on a page. You can think of it as a social security number. It should only be used once per document, and it is often used as a target for JavaScript or for linking to a specific part of a page. The class attribute, however, is used to group multiple elements that share the same characteristics, allowing you to apply the same CSS styling or JavaScript behavior to all of them simultaneously. Let's say, for example, you might use an ID for a unique header section, but use a class to style all the buttons on the page with a specific color. Our 10th question is, what are HTML lists and what are their types? Now, to answer this, you would say that HTML lists are used to structure and display content in a clear, organized format. There are basically 3 main types. Now, this type of list is used for items where the order doesn't matter. By default, it displays list items with bullet points. The second one is ordered list OL. This list is used for items where the sequence is very important, such as instructions or ranking. It displays items with numbers, letters, or Roman numerals. The third one is definition list, DL. The third one is definition list, DL. This list is used for a set of terms and their corresponding definitions. It consists of a list of terms which is DT and their definitions DD. All list items are created using the li tag within the UL or OL elements. And in unordered list, we have HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, C#, SQL. Again, in description list, we've got HTML. The HTML is a standard markup. You see what is the main difference between ordered, unordered, and description list, and what is the format for writing these. Now that we have successfully completed our beginner level top 10 questions, let's move on to our top 10 intermediate level question and answers. So question 11 is, what are HTML5 new features? The answer is, HTML5 introduced a significant number of new features to modernize web development. Key additions include new semantic elements like header, nav, section, article, and footer, which provides better structure and meaning to content. It also adds native support for multimedia, including the audio tag and video tags, eliminating the need for third-party plugins like Flash. Other notable features also include the canvas tag element for drawing graphic. This is a powerful geolocation API to access a user location, and new form input types and validation attribute that enhance user experience and simplify form handling. So guys, this is how you answer when an interviewer asks you about what are HTML5 new features. Make sure you briefly mention the important features added. The answer is, as these three elements are all used for grouping content, but they have different semantic meaning in HTML5. A division tag is generic, non-semantic container. It's used for styling and scripting purpose when no other element is more appropriate. A section tag represents a standalone thematic grouping of content, often with its own heading. It's used for group-related content like chapters of a book or distinct parts of a page. An article tag is a more specific type of section that represents a completely self-contained piece of content that could be distributed independently, such as a blog post, a news story, or a comment. So this is how you answer when they ask you the difference between section, division, and article. You can also show them in blocks like how it is different from each other. Now we'll move on to our 13th question, which is, how is an HTML table created? Now, this question, I assure you, this is the often most asked question by interviewers. To answer this, you say that an HTML table is a structured way to display data in rows and columns using a specific set of tags. The process begins with a table tag which acts as the main container. Inside this, each row is defined by the TR, which is the table row tag. Individual data cells within a row are defined by the TD, which is the table data tag. Now for headers, the TH we've got, which is the table header tag, and this is used instead of table data to provide semantic meaning. This structure creates a grid-like layout which can be further enhanced with attributes and CSS for styling. To answer this, you say that these are basically the three main ways to apply CSS styles to HTML document. Now, inline CSS is applied directly to a single HTML element using the style attribute like p style tag, which is the color red. So you basically mention it like starting bracket p style is equals to color red with a closing tag bracket, right? Now this is best for single use cases, but can be difficult to manage. Now internal CSS is defined with a style tag located in the head section of the HTML document. It applies style to the entire page, whereas external CSS is the most recommended approach where styles are written in separate CSS file and linked to the HTML document using the link tag in the head. This approach promotes reusability, modularity, and easier maintenance across a large website. To answer this, you can say that both the iframe and embed tags are used to embed external content into a HTML document, but they serve different purposes. Now, an iframe tag, which is the inline frame, is specifically designed to embed another complete HTML document or web page within the current one. It essentially creates a window to another page, and it is commonly used for things like embedding YouTube videos, Google Maps, or external ads. External non-HTML content such as multimedia files, PDF documents, and other plugin based content. To answer this, you say that HTML5 significantly improves form handling by introducing built-in form validation. This means that there is a lot of validation that can now be handled by the browser itself without needing complex JavaScript. Email number, URL, and date, which automatically validate the format of the user's input. Additionally, new attributes were introduced such as required, which is to make a field mandatory. Pattern for using regular expression, min and max for number ranges, and min length and max length for string lengths. This is how you answer when somebody asks you a question about how does HTML5 support form validation. Make sure you also mention all the important functions like min, max, and everything. Our 17th question on the list is, what is the difference between canvas tag and SVJ in HTML5? To answer this, you say that the canvas and SVJ element are both used for graphic on the web, but they are fundamentally different. Now, canvas tag is a raster-based or bitmap-based element. It's essentially a drawing area where you're using JavaScript to draw shapes and pixels. It's well suited for dynamic, pixel-intensive graphic like games, animations, and charts. SVJ tag, which is the scalable vector graphic, on the other hand, is an XML-based vector format. It uses text to describe shape, lines, curves, which means it can be scaled to any size without losing quality. It is a deal for logos, icons, diagrams, and other graphic that needs to be sharp and resolution independent. And talking about the performance, so Canvas is best suitable for small area and big data application, whereas SVJ is suitable for large area or small number of scenarios. Let's move on to our 18th question on our list, which is how do you embed audio and video tags in HTML5? To answer this, you say that HTML5 introduced the native audio tag and video tag elements which provide a standardized way to embed multimedia content without the need for third-party plugins. Both the tag work similarly, allowing you to provide multiple formats for cross-browser compatibility. The control attribute adds a default set of playback controls like play, pause, volume, etc. For example, we've got this HTML code, which is video control. Source src is equals to video.mp4. Type is video/mp4. Again, we've got source src, which is video.ogg. And type is again video/og. And the last we are enclosing with the ending tag video. That's it. Now, the audio tag also works in the same way, but here we use audio tag in place of video. That's it. The answer for this question is, basically, there are 3 methods for client-side data storage, each with different lifespan and purpose. Talking about cookies, these are the small text files with a size limit of about 4 kilobytes. They are sent with every HTTP request, making them useful for tracking user session and personalization. Then we have session storage, which is the part of the web storage API. Session storage stores data for a single browser session. The data is cleared when the tab or window is closed. It's ideal for temporary session-specific data like form information. Next, we've got local storage. Now, also the part of the web storage API, local storage stores data with no expiration date. The data persists even after the browser is closed and reopened. It's used for long-term storage of data that a user might need across multiple visits, such as a user preference. This is how you answer when a interviewer asks you a question about the difference between local storage, session storage, and cookies in HTML5. You can also give a case scenario based example to show and highlight the difference between all of these three elements. The next question on the list we have, which is what is the difference between HTML5 application cache and service workers? To answer this, you say that both the technologies were designed for creating offline capable web applications, but service workers are the modern, more robust solution that replaced the application cache. Now, the application cache, which is the app cache, was an older declarative approach that had many issues, including poor debugging, complex update process, and limited functionality. Service workers, on the other hand, are a more powerful event-driven JavaScript API and enable features like offline browsing, push notification, and background synchronization, making them a much more reliable and flexible solution for progressive web apps. Now it's time to move on to some advanced level HTML interview question and answers. So hurry up and let's start with the 21st question actually, which is how does the browser render an HTML page? This is basically a more advanced level type of question, and to answer this, you can say something like the browser rendering process is a multi-step procedure that transforms an HTML file into visual web page. First up, the browser passes the HTML to build a DOM, which is the Document Object Model tree. This is a logical representation of the document structure. Simultaneously, it passes CSS to build the SSOM, which is the CSS Object Model tree, which represents all the styling rules. The browser then combines these two trees into a render tree, which contains all the visual elements in the correct order, where the browser calculates the precise size and the position of each element and painting where it draws the pixel on the screen, a process which can be repeated for updates. Moving on to our 22nd question, which is what are ARIA roles in HTML and why are they important? Now, you might be wondering what is this ARIA, right? Now, to answer this, first of all, mention the full form. ARIA stands for Accessible Rich Internet Application. This is a set of attributes that you can add to HTML elements to improve their accessibility. ARIA roles, states, and properties provide additional information to assistive technologies such as screen readers that may not be available from the HTML element itself. Let's say, for example, a custom-based button might not be recognized as a button by a screen reader, but by adding role is equals to button, you explicitly tell the screen reader what it is. This is crucial for creating an inclusive user experience as it ensures that people with disabilities can understand and interact with your web content. Next up on the list, we have 23rd question, which is asking about how do meta tags affect SEO and performance. This is also a really important question to answer. Now, to answer this, you say that meta tags are small pieces of information in the head tag section of an HTML document that provide metadata about the page. While they don't actually change the visible content, they significantly impact a page's SEO and performance. SEO tags like meta name, which is equals to description, and provides a summary of the page for search engine results, influencing click-through rates. Then we've got performance. The meta name, which is viewport content, is equals to with device with initial scale is equals to maybe 1.0 tag. Now this is crucial for responsive design and telling the browser to scale the page correctly on mobile devices. Now other meta tags like meta charset is equals to UTF-8. This ensures a correct character encoding, preventing display issues. So now that you have understood how do meta tags affect SEO performance, it's time to move on to 24th question. This is asking about what are web components in HTML. So this is also an important and advanced question often asked in interviews. To answer this, you say that web components are a set of modern web platform APIs that allow you to create new custom, reusable, and encapsulated HTML tags. They are a powerful way to build modular user interface and are composed of three main types of technologies. The first one we have got is custom elements, the ability to define new HTML elements like my button tag. Then we've got shadow DOM, keeping them separate from the rest of the page. This prevents CSS and JavaScript conflicts. HTML templates. The templates and slot tag elements allow you to define reusable chunks of markup that can be cloned and used later. So this is how you give answer to the interviewer when they ask you a question on what are web components. Make sure you don't go much in like depth and theoretical part. Just mention the key features and the keywords for each of the components, the shadow DOM, HTML templates, custom elements, and you can also define the purpose and what is it used for basically. That's all. Let's move on to 25th question on our list, which is how do you optimize HTML for performance? To answer this, you say that optimizing HTML for performance is a key part of web development. Now, several techniques can be used like minimize DOM size, which is a large and complex DOM tree that can slow down rendering and JavaScript execution, keeping your HTML as lean and semantic as possible. Lazy load images and videos. Use the loading tag, which is lazy, attribute, or image, and video tags to defer loading of media until they are about to enter the viewport. Using semantic tags like using main tag, article tags, section tags, etc. can improve parsing and rendering efficiency. Then we've got compressing HTML. This can remove unnecessary white space, comments, and line breaks to reduce the size. Then use CDNs, serving resources like scripts and style sheets from a content delivery network. CDN can improve load times for user by using server closer to them. Let's move on to 26th question on our list, which is what are the difference between progressive enhancement and graceful degradation in HTML? To answer this, you say that these are the two different strategies for building websites that function well across various browsers and devices. The progressive enhancement is a start with the basics approach. You begin by creating a very simple functional version of the website using core HTML and CSS that works everywhere. Then you progressively add more advanced features using modern CSS, JavaScript, APIs that only load for browsers that support them. This ensures a functional experience for everyone. Graceful degradation is the opposite. You start by building a fully featured cutting-edge website for modern browsers and then add workarounds or fallbacks to ensure the site remains usable, though perhaps with reduced functionality on older browsers. Let's move on to our 27th question on our list, which is how does HTML handle responsive design? To answer this, you need to say that HTML in conjunction with CSS, this plays a very important and crucial role in responsive design, which is practice of building websites that adapt to different screen sizes and devices. The most important HTML element for this is the viewport meta tag. Meta name is equals to viewport. This is really important content. And then you have to mention like content is equals to with device with initial scale. You have to mention, let's suppose 1.0 with closing tag. This tag tells the web browser to set the page's width to the device's screen width, preventing it from showing scaled-down version of the desktop site. Additionally, HTML5 introduced the picture element tag and the SR set and sizes attributes for the image tag, which allows you to serve different image files based on the screen size, saving bandwidth and improving performance. Our 28th question on our list is, what is the shadow DOM and how does it actually help? To answer this, you say that the shadow DOM is a feature of web components that provide a way to encapsulate a part of the web page DOM. It creates a shadow tree that is attached to a standard HTML element, but its internal structure and styles are completely isolated from the rest of the page. This is incredibly useful for several reasons. The first one is encapsulation. It prevents CSS rules from leaking out and affecting other parts of the page, ensuring a component style or self-contained. Second, we've got modularity. It allows you to build a reusable component without worrying about naming conflicts or external styles interfering with it. Then simplification. It hides the complexity of a component's internal structure from the main document, making the overall HTML much more clear. Now it's time to move on to our 29th question, which is, how does HTML5 improve SEO compared to earlier versions? To answer this, you say that HTML5 significantly improves SEO by providing a more semantic structure to web pages. Before HTML5, developers often used non-semantic division tags with ID and class attributes to label sections. Search engine crawlers had a harder time understanding the hierarchy and importance of the content. With HTML5, new semantic tags like header, nav, main, article, and footer, the HTML itself now provides clear meaning to the content. This makes it easier for search engine to crawl, index, and understand the content, leading to better search ranking and more accurate search results for the users. So this is how HTML5 improves SEO compared to earlier versions, and this is how you need to answer in your interview. So now we have come to the final question on our list. The question is, what is the difference between server-side rendering, which is SSR, and client-side rendering, that is CSR, in relation to HTML? Now, to answer this, you need to say that basically these are two architectural patterns determining where the HTML for a web page is generated. Now, server-side rendering SSR, with the help of it, the entire HTML page is generated on the server and sent to the browser as a complete document. The browser can then display the page almost immediately. This leads to a faster initial load time and is generally better for SEO, as a search engine crawlers can easily access all the content to fetch the data and build the entire HTML page dynamically on the client's machine. While this can lead to more interactive user experience, it often results in slower initial load and can be less SEO friendly, as crawlers may have harder time indexing the content. So guys, with this 30 question guide, you now have the beginner to advanced HTML interview preparation that covers fundamentals, real world usage, and also advanced concept. And with that, we have come to the end of our tutorial. If you like this video, do hit the notification bell and subscribe for more such content by Simplilearn. Thank you and keep learning. Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, you can check the description box below.